Hello and welcome back to my third attempt to upload this battle. I've gone back to the old Photostory Windows software. It zooms around and I can't do the pointy thing, but for some reason the PowerPoint wasn't loading up, so apologies for those who tried to watch the other one and the sound sync, whatever I tried to do wouldn't fix. Anyway, get back to this game. I'm going to whiz through hopefully a bit quickly. Please live with the zoomings, it takes ages to correct that. And after 3 or 4 goes at the same battle. I don't really want to do it again. So, 200 points. This cracking game, Blucher. And Roger set all this up, put the figures, the whole lot. So, big thank you to him. It really is great the way he does these games. We've given both commanders, or both sides, an artillery commander. So, both get the advantage of being able to reload, as well as the extra dice, of course. But the main thing is the reload, which seems to be a bugbear, or definitely a bugbear of mine. Tiny point, it's a great game. I'm sure there's good reasons for it. So here we go. Okay. So look to the book. Right. So first of all, here's the French army. Might want to pause it to have a proper look. 3 fairly strong corps. I haven't got the great big corps like last time. See the commanders at the top. Nearly a legend. I'm not playing with legends because of Roger's humour there. It's based on the campaign in the late 1790s where the French ended up fighting the Russians in Switzerland. So not an part of that era I knew too well. I tend to focus more on where Napoleon was. And here's the Russians, despite his name, Rimsky-Korsakov. It's not just some sort of musical or opera character. He was a general, but not at all a legend. Roger's verdict there. So you can have a look through that. Very similar army to the French one. You've got the scary French artillery batteries. So here's initial setup. We both run quite high on the terrain, so we ended up placing 11 pieces between us. The road ran from one end to the other. It looked a bit strange not linking up to the villages, so we put those little extras on. I put the big hills in, or the 3 hills, try and create some blocked lines of fire for that dreaded Russian artillery. And I popped the road in to open up both flanks. Okay, so the setup as we're going to be. And I have ended up on this side of the table. We rolled off, but you know, let Roger choose this time, and he's defending and he's Russians. He generates both the armies, and they're well balanced. He gives me the choice. So it's a cracking game, and off we go. So there's the initial Russian deployment. You can see the cards with the white crosses on them, placed down at the top of the table. So work out where the 3 corps are roughly. He's gone for a central deployment there. If you look at the rules, you can go all the way across. There's a slightly misleading picture. What it does do is allow me to look at, immediately thinking I can try and swing around one of these flanks and go for a roller. Be much more aggressive than the last game. So here's my deployment. I'll zoom away from the bits I want to show you to the bottom of the screen. The right-hand corner is the cavalry, which almost immediately I realised is a dumb place, a bit blocked in. And that field is there as well. They don't need to be that far across. Just want to show my hand. But in this game, you get to deploy and go first as attacker, which I think is a huge advantage. But you do have to take the objectives and go to the enemy. So I suppose that's the game balance. The objectives, there is one obviously in the town right at the top middle of the screen. The other one, if there's no clear objective, you just want to put it anywhere. So I put it in that muddy field on the right, under what is now his left wing, the right hand side as we look. Little marker to remind me, it's turn 1. So immediately, as you can see top right, first corps has gone straight across, and that's 4 strong infantry units with the cavalry right at the top. And you'll also notice just below the field on the right, just to the right of the wood, that the artillery has parked itself there for a nice enfilading shot into that Russian flank. And the idea, if you notice on the left centre of the screen, is I've detached 2 units to form a sort of small corps division, that small division. And the job there is just for that cavalry to go across and try and flip over as many of those cards as possible, which stops them getting their reserve move. My plan already is to try and see as much of that as possible, keep it stuck in the middle where it can't move so easily, and then pile in the right-hand flank with the Russians unable to come across, because his cavalry will have revealed them. It's quite a good cavalry unit, unfortunately. It's the cheapest one in the book would have been fine, especially some light cavalry. You ask anyone if they play games with me, the light cavalry or the poorer units don't have a great life expectancy. Okay, there's a slight close-up. The way we do it on the game is we put a marker to show the current strength. So as they get hit, that number comes down. You can see there the 6s. So the Russians, both good quality units. And it's fairly equal matched on that flank, except the advantage of the artillery I've got piling in some shots, and hopefully the option to bring reserves up to support this flank and really push an advantage. Okay, so the artillery, a better shot of it, opening up onto the units on that field. But of course this turn they are heavy artillery and they move, so they can't fire just yet. Okay, this shows 1-1, so we're now on to player 2, turn 1, i.e. the Russians. So immediately the Russians have reacted by moving across to their left flank, the right hand side as we look, to face off against First Corps, which is up there. So it's a straight equal numbers except the advantage of the artillery. I think Roger was trying to do a few more. So the close-up, just get an idea, see the objective marker sitting on that field. Oh, unfortunately for Roger, I rolled for him a 4 on the MOs, which is the amount of activity you can do before your turn is over. That's one of the great things with this game. You can't actually see until your opponent's good enough to reveal it for you. So I'm sure there's other things planned, but with that corps being about 6 units, already gone past 4, end of turn. So he's taken the option of revealing the 2 artillery units in the centre, so they can now shoot. So it's bad news for the cavalry on the hill, but it does mean that they're not able to move very easily. And overall, I'm thinking it's a tricky decision, but I think that's probably better for them that they come out. So there are those big, scary Russian artillery units. They're both strength 6. And of course, they've got the artillery officer to give the extra dice, so that's 7 dice. So those comments in the previous video that people made about the Russian artillery. Excuse me, sip of tea. They do seem scared. So boom, here comes the first. 5 counts because they're heavy artillery, so that's 1 hit on the cavalry. There are the 5s as well, another hit. So they're immediately taking 2. So perhaps just as well. But they were quality 6 because they're already down to 4. They haven't got very far so far. Okay, my turn 2. So the cavalry bravely, there's no morale rules in this game. Tell them to go somewhere, they go. Brave lads. So what they've done, they've turned over those front 5 cards and one of the cavalry behind. That's obviously the cavalry corps sitting there in reserve. So now not all of those have lost their reserve. They can only make normal distance moves, which if nothing else gives them a long walk to get to my end with the bonus objective for the Russians is. It's also a long way from that flank all the way over to the other flank, which is where I'm hoping the fighting takes place. So the infantry have moved back behind the hill. The reason I sent 2 is they could activate as a corps, which costs 2 points, and you can still activate other corps. If you activate individually, everything has to be paid for individually from then on. So just moving those 2 is only 2 points, then do the big corps, and you're going to get them both in. But from now on, they're too far apart to move as a corps, they move individually. So good luck to our cavalry. Okay, so you can see where the artillery is. Starting to open up now. I think they also rolled a lower. Didn't get to do much else. Oh, sorry, yep. There's the other thing. I did the cavalry. Big decision here. Do I move 2 cavalry up to try and push onto that flank, which is being pinned by the artillery and the infantry facing it? So nice combined arms working together there. I do like to keep things in reserve as much as possible. I put a lot of thought into this. Whether or not I should commit all the cavalry and just go for the big charge. You do feel vulnerable with all your reserves committed. One of the great things about this game, in fact, it's the only war game I can think of where reserves are really important, which seems to reflect the accounts of when you read about historical battles, all about holding back the reserve, not committing too early, crucial timing, all that kind of stuff. All part of the great high-level feel this game has. Okay, so the infantry have advanced as well. They've gone to musket range. Again, the temptation to just keep shelling them for a while with the artillery, soften them up and then move in. It's got its pros and cons. Obviously, it's going to make the defenders weaker. It also gives more chance for the Russians to react, and I'm going for the rapid flank attack. Oops, there's a helpful hand. The artillery 5. Withdraw, giving the extra dice, so 6 dice rolled, and it's a hit in there. The horse artillery have also come up. Just want to see them on the bottom of the screen, hopefully. And that's them firing. Unfortunately, the 5 doesn't count, so not heavy artillery, but another hit. In fact, 2 6s there. So it's down 3 hits already. Fortunately, the guy with them is the Russian commander who can rally troops. And he's really worth his weight in this game. He keeps bringing them back on every turn. Okay, turn 2 for the Russians. Little round block there is the objective marker. So immediately the Russians have mirrored my cavalry with 2 cavalry units. You can see the cards behind the hill. They can be flipped over, these rather nice Russian cavalry. They are very nice figures and nicely painted as well. Not my work. Not plugging myself. Just a shame the pictures don't zoom in a bit more. You can see how nice they are. And how different it is to see bicorns on the battlefield. So the later Napoleonic uniforms, I know I always go for and you usually see. So there we are. Now we've got the interesting thing, look at the rules. Can they see each other over the hill? Can they charge each other? I've read the rules more deeply on this in the month since. And it seems to be, if you can get another unit, say, around to the side of the hill that can see them, it's assumed everyone can see them. So in this situation, I'm not sure if either of us can actually see each other. Anyway, I think we allowed the charges. Close up of the Russian infantry. Little guy does the rallying, seems to take hits. The yellow cubes, just to show all the rolls of the dice, try and speed things up a bit. So that cavalry's taken 3 hits. So just as well they were level 6, but they're down to 1 now, and they will survive another turn. Back to French turn 3. A long shot. Hope you get clear on your big screen. I've got a little sort of thumbnail thing to work from. There you can see the top right hand corner gives you a good overview of the battle. The infantry start to engage. Cavalry in the centre, either side of that hill, facing off the Russians. And cavalry in the front, just trying to turn over as many cards as possible before he gets blasted. So the cavalry, if you look on the left hand side, over by that hill, just taking cover. Or just dies, you can't turn over any more cards very easily. The front row does screen the guys behind it, so. And we start to get into each other on the right hand side. You see more hits going in from the artillery. We have 2 batteries firing away. So we'll spot bother that unit. Because they have got cavalry on the flank. And cavalry trying to cover them, and the infantry you can see getting closer. And the shooting really starting now, actually, not the previous turn. Because when you do a reserve move, you can't go within 12, which is the musket range. So now they move into musket range. Not short range though. Slight frustrating thing with where the rules work. When you're French particularly, I like to be able to throw the columns in and smash their way in. But if you go in at short range against fresh units, and they're rolling 5 or 6 dice each, you can take a lot of hits. It just doesn't seem feasible to me. The tactic seems to be, and please leave your comments, go to long range, enter the shooting match. You've got the skirmisher bonus as French, which means the 5s count as well. A bit of support from the artillery. Hopefully that advantage is enough to do more hurt than they're dishing out to us. Q, another hit from the artillery. Infantry now in place. Turn 3 Russians. So, an early advance from the Russians on the other flank, partly pushing this cavalry out of the way and also getting some counter-attack, trying to get some initiative. So it's becoming a real nuisance, that one cavalry unit. I'm very glad I did that. And there's an overview of the battlefield again. So you can see his artillery in the middle, very powerful, but no real targets. Apart from the face-down cards, which I didn't really think about. Look at the map, just about to squeeze a line through from both artillery onto the middle unit. And there's the yellow cube. Boom. It's half dice, but still got a hit. So they get flipped over, lose their reserve, move, and they're taking casualties. And that's just half dice at long range. So it shows what artillery can do. And I guess this is why their ammo is limited, which I do agree with. I just don't necessarily agree with them getting worse the more they fire. Just have so many rounds of shooting or something like that. That's the way the game is. Mr. Mustafa is brilliant at writing these games, so we play it as it is. With the bonus of having artillery officers each. I think both sides should have them, or neither side should have them. Now you see the unit in the middle front, down the bottom, taking the hits. The cavalry are formed up on the brow of the hill to completely block French cavalry charging into that flank. So that's been protected. Oh, yes. Here comes the shooting in. Remember I had all those treble 6s in the last report? Well, there we are. Boom! Roger threw a treble 6. So there's stats out the window for you. 3 a degree of my work, life wasted. Stats don't apply to dice. Treble 6 is that run every couple of hundred. We've had 3 in about 6 turns if you run the 2 games behind each other. Anyway, so 3 yellow cubes on the middle one, single cube on the other 2. So it took quite a few casualties. The price you pay of attacking. Just an overview of that. Overview of the cavalry. Initiative 4. Eyeing this up. Can I actually charge the infantry in the flank? Could be quite devastating. His cavalry's in the way. I'm not sure what we can see. But we can see how we allowed it. And to me it seemed only fair really to charge the cavalry. You can't just ignore them as if they weren't there. So boom, in we go for first melee. Oh, this is where the statistics again, madness. Unfortunately, Roger rolled a double 1 for me this time. So that was all I got to do. So all the plans of combined attack and supporting the cavalry, with more cavalry or the infantry in the middle making the reserve move and going for the overwhelming force. Ain't gonna happen. Good luck, cavalry boys, you're on your own. It also means I can't hide that scout unit either. Anyway, here we go again. Just to add insult to injury, after the double 1, there's a load of 1s, 2s and 3s. So the artillery doesn't do any damage. Even the extra dice for Drouot. The horse artillery gets the 5, just no good, so thanks a lot. 10 dice, no hits, or 9 dice, no hits. All the infantry blaze away. Oh dear, there's 1 6, but at least the 5 counts at the end. So tiny bit of damage done. This could hurt when they start shooting back. Close up there, just a couple of yellow cubes inflicted for all that artillery and infantry. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Right, here's the melee. Dice is 4 up, count as hits. So my first unit's rolling 7 dice against 6. My glorious heavy cavalry get 2 hits. And the Russians get 5. So just so I wasn't defender, otherwise that would be 3 casualties. As it is, I get repulsed, 2 casualties. And there's no breakthrough there just yet. So that's them retreating back. Roger has a decision then whether not to pursue. Stay where he is, guarding that infantry. Let's see what happens to the other unit now. Hey, well, it's a win anyway. 4 dice beats 3, 4 hits beat 3, so we'll push them back. You see them going back with the yellow cubes in front of them. And now I have the option of pursuing or not. And I'm thinking, come on, let's go for the breakthrough. If I can get through there, onto that artillery, or around the back of the infantry, it's got to be worth the risk. So there you go, they followed up. And actually, I seem to remember a little thing happened here whereby they don't actually charge in, but they can move right up to almost touching. And the question we had to discuss was whether the artillery with the yellow cube on it could shoot them where they are, which might be quite devastating. And with the angle of the gun, it's just clipping, so it's probably not a valid shot. So with them swirling around, Roger's reasonable as always, and gone for the can't shoot them. So effectively using the other cavalry as cover. If they stayed where they were on the hill, they would have got blasted. So kind of no choice in the end, really. French turn 4. And he's charged back into those cavalry. So that melee will resume, and he gets the charge bonus. So winning by 1, I think it's going to be an even money roll. And then double 1 for Roger. What's going on with the dice in these Blucher games? Because he's mad. So there's double 1 for my activations and double 1 for Roger's activations. You move 1 unit, cost you 2 points, and that's it. So the turns are whistling along. Apart from the shooting, of course. So all this infantry gets to return some favours to the French now. I think I could have got the bottom one a bit. I could have, I don't know, tried to get the first one out of range and into range, all that kind of stuff. But I think they were all firing. Oh, and here's a nice view of that shot. I hope the zoom doesn't take all over the place. The artillery can just see past that hill, hit them. So there's 2 lots of artillery blasting this poor infantry here. And they get away quite lightly, really. I think it's just another hit. So, the melee with, if you remember, that Russian cavalry was counter-charging, had been driven off the hill. My turn to get the luck. 7 dice for the Russians, 3 hits. 6 dice for the French, 6 hits. But being a defender, it only does 2 casualties. If you attack with a roll like that, you can really devastate units. So he takes 2 hits and goes back further. Might just take 1 hit just for the effort. And over to French turn 5. How useful these dice. So there's the situation at the moment. And with those low activation rolls, or MOs, I call it this game, it's not really got any momentum, that flank attack on the right, although there is the cavalry pushing through in the middle with a choice to make. Go for the artillery or keep pursuing that cavalry and hope to get a free run at the back of those infantry in a second. The artillery fight with all their dice, which we assume includes the bonus for the commander as well. And they're hitting on a 5, and I think they're about 6 at the time. As Roger explained to me, they ain't going to win that one. Seems a bit harsh for cavalry not to be able to overrun artillery if they can get there. There you go. So there's a close-up of that decision. Which one did you go for? Artillery going to get 6 dice. I think they have to re-roll their hits. But still would have been could have been painful. And if you beat them, it's like the crews will run away into the village and then come back later anyway. Anyway, better option to go for the cavalry. And the rest of the cavalry reserve, or at least 2 more of them, have come up to support this charge over the hill. And I'm trying to place them in such a way as they're not going to get blown up by that artillery on the one you can see just below the village at the top. And it seemed whichever way I did it, my elite heavy cavalry that was coming up was going to get blasted. So once again, light cavalry is on the left flank, and it's going to catch the cannonballs to save the heavy artillery. I told you it's not good being light cavalry, one of my armies. I guess that must have been our activation points. Turn ended. Blasting away time. See the dice, those 5s count, thank goodness. The bonus of being skirmishers with the French. So 3 hits, start to do some damage. I've actually turned the fire onto the cavalry at the top there. Get a bit of an advantage, and then maybe my cavalry can charge in. Seems to be 4 against 3 shooting. Then we've got the artillery as well. So I'll stay there and keep blazing away for a bit longer. There's a shooting dice for the artillery. A load of rubbish again. At least we did some damage. Here's my charge in the middle into the cavalry at the top of the screen. Hope you can remember. It was the decision between charging the artillery or the cannon. 2 hits beats 1. Whee! It's another 1 kill. Pushing them back but not destroying them. You need 6 dice against 4. Okay, good. Russian turn 5. Turns do get quicker. Well, apart from this one, a bit later to get quicker. So, Roger's trying to get that flank attack going now. My one little cavalry unit there is proving a nuisance and stopping them doing reserve moves straight down, because if they can see you, you've got to stop. So basically I'm to loop around them. So trying to get that attack going there as quickly as possible. And my cavalry trying to get munching into that flank as quickly as possible. So giving them a few decisions to make, how much is going to come across to defend this as well. While trying to get some play of his own. Yeah, I think that's my cavalry unit fleeing there. It's a bit stuck now in the middle, but it has slowed down that whole flank. So I think it's a price worth paying. Although if I thought about it, I should probably take them off now. You can withdraw them. It doesn't count against your casualties. So the one unit is screening the other unit, so the flank gets as far as it. There's still a long walk to get from there down to the village. I've got 1 unit blocking, so I reckon I can win the right flank before this attack is going to be pressed home. So as you can see, that is my cavalry unit right in the middle, in front of the whole army. And the cards you can see they'll be left on the table just for this picture. So you can see they can go as far as that because their advance is screened by the other infantry units and the hill. So fairly close. There we are on the table. And of course that cavalry unit gets shot to pieces by the infantry. Which gives a little decision here. Because I know in some games, I think it used to be the case in Maurice, that you nominate your targets before they all shoot. It's the thing about, can dead men block bullets? Because now they've been shot by the infantry, they're giving the artillery a clear shot, which they wouldn't have had before they died. So we allowed the artillery to shoot anyway, after a bit of discussion. Pleading. So this poor unit in front of the town gets whacked by 2 batteries again. Luckily the dice aren't too painful, but they are starting to suffer. Actually, no, it's 1 artillery against those. And you can see the yellow cube against my cavalry, which is protecting the flank of the heavies, which couldn't quite hide down the hill. Okay, so they take 2 more hits from the village. Not looking good for those 4 boys. And disastrous shooting, though, for the Russians. See that yellow cube? Only hit done. So momentum's just starting to come back the other way a little bit. Goes to 6. What I was thinking of here, really, I think I have the idea of trying to get the horse artillery into canister range. It doesn't give you much of a bonus anyway in Blucher. I think the 5 counts. I think Kadashi should reroll all misses or something like that. Give it a real boost. And you're going to get pretty close as well. I just want to be a better spot as well to shoot across the table if needed. But, I think I did because you can. Of course, artillery you can move and shoot. It's a big field. I don't know. Do these things spur of the moment sometimes. And there's my shooting. Have that lot. Especially the right-hand unit there. 2 6s and a 5. Effectively another 666. And that's because the 5 counts onto the cavalry. So they're down to, you can probably see better than I can, 1 or 2. They're looking vulnerable now to a charge. And the skirmisher bonus, those 5s are coming up. This flank is starting to, the Russian flank starting to waver a bit here. Yep, there's a close-up of my treble. The madness of games with 6-sided dice. Okay, no picture for this one, fortunately. This is cavalry on the right-hand side of the hill charging into the flank of that Russian infantry. So the Russians had 3 dice and had to re-roll the hits. They ended up with no hits at all. 5 dice, come on. Every hit is a casualty to that Russian unit and only 1. 4, 5s and 6s count. Could have easily rolled 3 hits and destroyed that unit. What do you do? So you can see the infantry moving back. That's where the hand is, moving them. And the cavalry are now thinking, yippee-dee, happy days, more exposed flanks. And if he goes prepared, I think you get a shooting penalty. And they're starting to get shot at by the infantry. This flank's starting to look good. Also, on the hill, 2 units of cavalry, charging 1 unit of Russian cavalry. So again, it's starting to get some pressure on. There's that melee. Wow, I rolled 8 dice against 5, and 3 hits. The doughty defenders on the hill get 4. What can you do? You think you've done everything right. And then 4 dice beat 8, and you lose the melee. So they come reeling back off the hill. What a shame. And also, yeah, the other thing I didn't mention on here, if you didn't have the picture, was I think the other cavalry on the hill sort of watching, because I thought I had enough dice, and every unit that engages takes an automatic hit. So they've sat there ready to exploit the follow through, and all they're going to do is sit there and be a nice target for those artillery. Turn 6 for the Russians. The reorganization going on here, but also, this annoyed me. My follow-through cavalry meant to charge again or do something, and they didn't. And Russian cavalry's come around the back and ganged up on them, so they're going to get stuffed now. They're sad. Lot going on, all that stuff with working out the cavalry on the hill. I made Ty King to have a look as well. I played him. Yeah, so you see that cavalry outnumbered at the top. Cavalry on the hill about to get shot. Yeah. Still winning this flank just by sheer weight of numbers. Not by much else though. Yep, artillery does another couple of hits on those. The life of a poor cavalry. 5 in the activation. Yeah, sorry, out of order there. Should he swap back? Only rolled a 5, which meant he couldn't carry on doing more damage this turn. Went to the shooting phase, the artillery did a couple of hits. And the infantry, again another whiff, just 1 hit, all that lot of Russians shooting. It's a cruel game sometimes. 6s are a funny one, because if you're only 3 dice, I think you're almost about even money to get one, so. And it's frustrating. And there's the big melee. Can't quite see it on this picture. If you remember, they were ganging up on the cavalry into the top. Loads of Russian dice. French, fair play, 4 dice, 3 hits. So 5 hits come the other way, take 2 casualties. And the Russians take 1 each. So, you know, in a draw in a way, could have been a lot worse. So they come hurling back with their 2 yellow cubes on them. And the cavalry's becoming a swirling battle behind the Russian lines, though. And next to the artillery. Turn 7 for the French. Well, there's a lot to take in. try and fix the motion on the zoom so you can see everything. But right, okay. If you look at the road and the objective marker on it, that is the back of the French cavalry hitting into that Russian infantry. And looking back, I think we might have made a mistake there, because they were in that muddy field, which I think should have been difficult terrain, some sort of penalty for the cavalry. Also, if you look, there's the beautiful white cavalry coming up the hill from the Russians, surrounded. Hit it from the front and the back, which means you have to reroll all hits. The third unit is just sat on the hill again, couldn't quite squeeze it in. Surely that's enough dice now. More dice and re-rolling. And yeah, that's the main event. Right, so I think that's the cavalry ploughing into the flank of their infantry. I think the 2 dice are re-rolled as well. The sword came up as hits, and 6 dice only get 2 hits, so there you go. Not the crushing flank attack is meant to be. And over here. Okay, well, as you can see, cavalry going in there. 6. The shooting has shot the Russians down to 1. Apologies, I've got the picture slightly out of sync here. It's about a month since the battle now. Okay, I remember this one. As you can see, 2 points of cavalry coming from the back, 5 from the front. Got 5 cavalry in the middle, but might even got a downhill bonus, charging bonus. There's loads of dice, and he's re-rolling. Should be a rout. Just about. Just about. 3 hits. 9 dice, 3 hits. Re-roll, 1 hit. Anyway, it's enough of a win because there's no retreat, so they're destroyed. Thank goodness. As you can see, they are properly trapped. Here's the cavalry coming to that flank. And they got the dice wrong earlier. There's some dice going up in a second. But it's the same sort of thing. 4 now against 2 with 2 re-rolls. Win by 1. I've managed to squeeze them in somewhere. Not sure exactly what the rules are for full impact. But, if you're running from cavalry chopping at you, you're going to find a gap, aren't you? It's getting a bit complicated there now. The Russian, sorry, all that cavalry at the bottom half is mine, and there's the backs of infantry everywhere, backs and flanks. Oh, it's like a cavalry officer's dream. Russian turn 7. Let's see what they can do about it. Oh, there's a quick overview picture, so you can see the whole battle. On the left-hand side, you can see these Russians starting to advance. Total confusion at the top right, and the artillery blazing away in the centre. So, really, a lot of activations do a lot of things here. Got to prioritise, it's difficult. And yes, and the sensible thing, taken off a unit, rather than have them killed. Something I always forget to do. I have to say, Roger's very good at that. If they haven't got a chance, get them off. It makes it harder for you to break the army. It's all about breaking the army. I am taking some casualties here, and I need to remember that, because you can break quite quickly, especially without the legends. I think it's 7 or 8 units lost, the whole army's gone, based on the size of armies we have. Great scene here of cavalry charging over the place. But unfortunately, in the middle, I think you see my cavalry charged in the rear now. And the infantry, some have come off, some are turning around. There's all the details again. Cavalry on the hill gets blasted by that blinking artillery. And there's one. I should just take them off. Good tip. Go on to 1. You get chopped by artillery. Just take them off. I wasted so many activations, as you'll see. Moving them. To try and get them away. And they're always in range of the artillery. And well, you can see what happens. Yep. So you can see this flank, Russian flank, really starting to dissolve now and go back. And coming in and just a case of how much shooting damage they can do. And it was a melee. Roger's just charged in. There must be a cavalry at the top. Just try and do something. Yeah. 2 dice each. 1 hit each. Can't remember the details now. It's a draw anyway. And I think we jump into my turn here because you can see the cavalry charging down off the hill. The cavalry charging into the infantry, just taking them on regardless of the odds. And you should see the right flank starting to advance as well. So that objective is gone. It's one objective taken. Yeah, they're starting to push up now. They've reached the field. They're going to go for it and try and run through this flank. This is from the right hand side again. You see this artillery's a bit blocked out now, but it's turning around. You could spend some time looking at that if you wish to, but the basic thrust behind the French right flank attack. So these guys obviously haven't moved up because they fired and loads of sixes, so that's really going to hurt the Russians now. Charging down the hill, 2 units onto 1, charge bonuses. I think I'm using the blue dice. I've lost it by 1. The pedals are ball. Yeah. So my guys take 2 each now. What can you do? And these are charged headlong into that infantry. It's not the best, and that difficult terrain might be a penalty we should have used. It's even dice. It's just to try and keep the momentum going and just push their numbers down, because I've got more numbers up there. I used to play a lot of chess when I was young. If you've got a numerical advantage, exchange is always the rule. 7 against 6, even money. 3 against 2 or 2 against 1, big advantage. So juice numbers where you've got an advantage, even if it's even like this. And you also get a bit of luck sometimes and roll 4 hits. Only 1 for defenders, that's 3 kills, they're down to 1. You should be dead, I think. Anyway. Another charge and even money, just trying to attrition. That's my approach in a situation like this. Overview of the battlefield. If you can make it out, but that top right hand corner, that flank attack is really going through as per the plan, really. Well, I say as per the plan, it's gone through. You have to accept it's going to go wrong. Oh, the other thing I could have mentioned is the cavalry running away. Yes, now these infantry I did have on that facing side of that hill, if you remember. They're backing away. No point in fighting there, backing away towards the village. I think the guys, there's a picture of the guys who are on 2 in front of the village have moved into it for some cover. Looking elbows. You see the guns at the bottom are actually turned across because there's Russian cavalry have broken through. Well, the idea is if they're going to charge into the rear of my cavalry, which is fleeing, they'll probably win, but then they'll get stuck in front of my guns and they can finish them off. Meanwhile, everything's piling in the right flank, and I imagine Roger's removing those. They're down to 1. The ones just lost the melee with the cavalry. So there's not much left up there, but they're not coming off as casualties. Got to try and get that win with the dice. So get a bit confusing up there. Guess I'm just charging in wherever I can. Can't remember all the details of these melees, unfortunately. Oh, there's another load of whiffs. 1-0 to a defender. The overall point is the melees aren't doing very well, whatever the dice. It's going to really stop your plans. So finally really going to go for it now, actually launching the infantry into a melee. Melees aren't always that great, and it's complete lottery on the dice. I wonder if I'm better off just a bit more patience and keep shooting. There's only 12 turns each. The last objective is the town in the centre, and I've got to make a move on to get there in time. Anyway, so they've charged in. I think it's 4 against 3. Great. No hits at all. Defenders do 1. Lose the melee. Take 2 hits, of course. What could you do? You get everyone in the right place, you charge them in, you get the dice advantage. I think I just lost all the melees. Yeah. There we are. 2 dice against 3. Take a gamble, lose that one 2-0. That must be the cavalry going in there, so they're in trouble. Right, turn 9. Get near the end. A bit quicker this time, hopefully. I just can't remember all the details, but this is trying to push through on that right flank. The infantry's pushing up. I don't know if you've seen it yet, it's about to happen, but the reserve infantry have also come up. Cavalry pushing over the hill. Well, actually, I think there's a melee on the hill there, isn't there? Artillery, well, so it's not really firing, but because they've got Druo, they are reloading. So they get themselves ready to come back into the game. And the infantry at the top, you can see them broken through that flank. They're going to make a push for the village to win the game. Or try to. Yes, I think what happened there, the Russian cavalry beating the French. French had withdrawn. Thank you very much, the artillery on the hill. We'll just blast them and do it that way. Okay, the last bit of Russian resistance still there, stubbornly hanging on. What's they say about the Russians? Was it shoot them twice, once to kill them, once to knock them over? So 9 for the Russians. Looking at how to hold on to this flank. Too much shooting dice. I guess that's what shooting dice. Shooting is more effective than the melees generally. Yeah, one thing I did just realise is one of those melees with my cavalry losing up in the top. I guess I had more dice and got no hits at all. And I've got 1 cavalry unit at the top to worry about, which is a bit of a pain. Here's more shooting. Check out the dice if you wish, but I know I do remember a month ago it was enough to blast some cavalry off the hill. And not many other targets at the moment. But I'm also thinking on long range cover, if that other flank does start going towards the village, they're not badly sighted. So keep reloading and blast anything that comes through. I think those units have been taken off because that right flank has gone completely, and it's a march for the town. And it's difficult for the Russians now. Although, I have lost a couple more units, and I'm close to breaking, and I think I'm about 2 units off at the moment, which I hadn't realised. Well, Roger did remind me, so I should be taking them off as well. You see, looking very empty up there suddenly. Clear run, just about to the town. Apart from that 1 cavalry unit at the top. It's not very strong. I couldn't really deal with it. I had nothing left to deal with up there. I had a couple of very weak units. Can't remember all the details, but I remember we came to a situation where it was down to charge priority. Oh yeah, this is one other thing. That cavalry I had fleeing off the hill. Roger's trying a long range pot shot with the artillery. That's the one. 1 more hit needed, and they're broken. Well, they missed. Phew. As you can see, they're on 1. Oh, sorry, they're on 2. Got 1 hit. On 1. And if I activate them, they will escape. But again, you activate them first. You count 2 points, and you can't activate cores afterwards. But anyway, my general came in. So the way I did it was to use 2 points to move him off, to just take them off the table. And then use the general to do a general move to get all that stuff moving. That does end the turn, unfortunately. Looks like another melee, where now the Russians have only rolled 1 hit against 1. I think this is cavalry trying to break 1 more unit up the top. The Russians sneak an unlikely win. Yeah, you see it here. So beat my cavalry anyway. The cavalry are going to retreat, leaving their back free. Might have rolled the wrong colour dice then. So definitely remember losing this one. And we're trying to work out whether I could flee. So if I go straight off, it's off the edge of the table, which I count as broken. So we've allowed them to come down the table. Yeah, so fit this turn. I'm going to take this right now. There you go. So they don't quite fit on the table. So they're only on 1. So if you can catch them in the rear, bound to kill them. So we allow them to come at an angle. And the decision then, hang on. once they've moved, is which target Roger's obliged to chase, because he's got 2 threats. I'm still not sure of it right, because also, I read the rules more thoroughly since, it has to be in your charge arc. So it might actually be neither of them. There's a big moment, because the infantry are definitely out, so he definitely wants to charge the cavalry, but would you ignore the infantry? So if you charge the cavalry in the back, break and takes them, I think I was broken, there might be 1 unit left. Yeah, it's like that, so the infantry are a lot nearer. I don't think either are actually in the charge arc, because you need to draw a bead with the centre of the front of the base. So it might have been a moot point. And Roger's trying to charge, just try and break a unit. He's just gone in like it's even dice just to give it a go. Yeah, a lot of hits, but not enough to quite destroy them. And there's another one, which is having a go, even dice. Actually defends a 1 on that one. Basic fleet and cavalry down with this wood at the bottom, what a pain they were. Wasting activation points on them. Artillery is well placed to blast anything left on that hill. And the right flank starting to come across as fast as it can. Yay, they did escape. Yeah, just take them off this time. Sometimes you roll a very low number, and that's all you get to freaking do. So, this is why I moved them early, but hey, then I couldn't do anything else. Yeah, finally, keep talking about the memories playing tricks. And there's the hit from the artillery to destroy that unit. Cavalry on the hill. So the Russians are very close to breaking as well now. There's the 6. I'm going to blaze into those infantry and try and shoot them to death to get the break that way. We're also pushing on to try and get the objective. Yeah, 1 more hits, skirmishes. Thank you. Melee. 2 all draw. I'm not sure where that was, but I think he's at the top corner. Yeah, that was crucial, yes, because if it had been 2-0 or 3-1, I'd taken 2 hits and that cavalry being destroyed. Seems to be a duplication of pictures here. Anyway, so we had that situation where should or could his cavalry charge the rear of mine. Both armies are almost broken. Looked at the overall situation, there's nothing really to defend the town, so I could definitely grab the objectives. But with all things considered, he charged the infantry. Roger charged the infantry, very gracious of him. I think he could have charged the cavalry. Not sure if either were in. I don't know. It was getting late. I wanted to wrap the game up. He won, but only by 1, not enough to destroy that unit. He takes a hit as well. They don't have 1. And with a situation like that, both armies more or less broken, although the right flank has won, the cost has been so high, we've agreed a draw. And that's the conclusion. So I hope this is filmed okay. Please leave some comments, especially when the rules are all wrong as always. And subscribe, hope you enjoyed it. My fingers are now crossed that this will load correctly and there'll be no other problems. And I hope the zooming around with the camera that you get with Photostory wasn't too distracting. Thank you.